Everyone, I will call this meeting of the Standing Committee on Government Operations to order. My name is Rylund Johnson. I am MLA for Yellowknife North and chair of this committee. Today we are holding a public hearing and clause-by-clause review of Bill 53, an act to amend the Liquor Act. I will begin by asking committee to introduce themselves, beginning on my left.
Caitlin Cleveland, MLA Cam Lake.
Richard Ajeric on Trinity.
Thank you. We are also joined by Committee Advisor Nigel Woolrich and Committee Clerk Cynthia James. Sorry, what was that, Madam Clerk?
We're also joined by Toby Kruger, the law clerk online.
Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Kruger. At this point, I will open up the floor to any members of the public who wish to provide comments on Bill 53, an act to amend the Liquor Act. Hearing no public comments today, I will proceed to invite the Minister to present the bill. Minister, please join us.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Of course, computer technology is opening rather slowly for me. I do have some opening comments and I do have witnesses with me in the room. Should we begin with introductions or should I go straight into opening remarks?
Please introduce your staff and then go into your opening remarks.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Chair, this morning I have the Deputy Minister of Finance, Bill McKay, with me. We also have the legislative drafter with me, Mr. Ian Rennie, and I do have my senior advisor, Drew Robertson, also in the room this morning. And some of whom are now joining me at the table, Mr. Chair. Thank you. All right, with that, my apologies. Mr. Chair, I am very pleased, of course, to be with you this morning to present and discuss Bill 53, an act to amend the Liquor Act. Liquor legislation in the Northwest Territories does require an overhaul to become more modern, more streamlined, and more responsive to the needs of the Northwest Territories residents, including how the GNWT can improve this legislation on matters related to possession, consumption, sale, purchase, manufacture, importation, and distribution of liquor in the Northwest Territories. The current liquor legislation was brought into force in 2008. It includes the Northwest Territories Liquor Act and regulations. Due to the evolving nature of liquor-related issues, the legislation simply is no longer nimble enough nor adequate enough to serve residents' needs. This bill proposes at this time only 4 administrative amendments to the Liquor Act, and that would benefit from immediate attention. That is, firstly, updating personal importation limits to increase the quantities that a person may bring with them into the Northwest Territories. This is based on 2018 commitments that were made by the then Premier and Council of the Federation related to the Canada Free Trade Agreement. Secondly, there is a removal of the enforcement as part of the Northwest Territories Liquor Licensing Board's role. This is due to the potential for conflict of interest. This will ensure that there's a removal of any impression that the Liquor Licensing Board is not impartial. Third, is removing the ban on license applicants who have been charged with but not convicted of a criminal offense. This is necessary to be consistent with the fundamental legal principle of innocence until proven guilty. And fourthly, officially updating the name of the Northwest Territories Liquor and Commission into the Northwest Territories Liquor and Cannabis Commission. This, of course, is necessary to solidify the legal name of the Northwest Territories Liquor and Cannabis Commission in the Liquor Act and in the Cannabis Products Act. The Department of Finance...
Cynthia, are we going to
Your computer, it's picking up the mic.
Thank you. The Department of Finance has also identified additional administrative items requiring amendments. However, the amendments in Bill 53 were scaled back to what we deem to be more essential items of a national importance or that would create potential legal problems if not given this immediate attention right now. At the same time, Mr. Chair, there is an approach that has been developed for a much broader legislative proposal, which will address additional administrative items that was approved by Cabinet and will be forthcoming as part of a more comprehensive liquor review. With that, thank you, Mr. Chair. It concludes my opening remarks, and we'd be happy to answer questions from committee.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any questions from committee? MLA Cleveland?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, just in that last sentence from the minister, she did reference a more comprehensive legislative proposal expected to come from the GNWT, and I'm just wondering if the minister can provide more information on an expected timeline for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I expect the legislative proposal will be prepared, well, not expect, the legislative proposal will be ready this government. Whether or not we're in a position to introduce anything beyond that would depend upon the timing of legislative drafting and, of course, the timing required by committee to do their review. I think committees has a fair bit on its plate, as does legislative drafting. So that's where beyond saying that the LP will be ready, after that, the timelines are probably going to be a bit shifting, but that's where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. If we gotta find some extra time to get that act done, we will do everything we can as committee. Any further questions from committee? Hearing none, does committee agree to proceed to the clause-by-clause review? Agree. I'm gonna propose, thank you, in order to not go through all 9 clauses individually, I'll group them as sections. So to committee agree to clauses 1 through 5. Does committee agree? Clauses 6 through 9. Does committee agree? Thank you, committee. We have now completed our clause-by-clause review of Bill 53, a Liquor Act. Does committee agree that this bill is ready for committee of the whole? MLA Cleveland, can I ask you to move a motion that Bill 53 be moved to committee of the whole?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that Bill 53 is ready for reading in committee of the whole.
To the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have now completed our clause-by-clause review of Bill 53, an act to amend the Liquor Act. Thank you, Minister, for appearing us today, and we will see you in committee of the whole.
Yep.
That concludes our public broadcast.